I'm Governor Larry Hogan. Our state is taking unprecedented and aggressive actions in the fight to stop the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic here in Maryland. As you know, I recently issued a stay-at-home directive to ensure that no Marylander leaves his or her home unless it is for an essential job or for an essential purpose. I know how difficult this is on each and every one of you. There's a great deal of fear and anxiety, and the truth is that none of us really know how bad this is going to get or how long it's going to last. But I can promise you that there are a great many dedicated people doing tremendous things, working around the clock, and doing their very best to help keep Marylanders safe. In the days to come, we're going to need to depend on each other, to look out for one another, and to take care of each other, because we are all in this together, and we will get through this together.
This is the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief, keeping you informed about the happenings in Annapolis and the area. Local news, local sports, local events, local opinion, and of course, local weather. The Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief starts now.
Good morning. It's Tuesday, May 5th, 2020. This is John Frenaye, and this is your Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Make sure you head to your favorite Latin place tonight. Have a taco, a burrito, or some authentic Latino cuisine and celebrate. Don't forget to help our local businesses. Congratulations to the Baltimore Sun, who won a Pulitzer Prize yesterday for local reporting. It was all on the uncovering of former Mayor Catherine Pugh's scheme to sell her children's books, which I don't know whether ever existed. That story was first broken by Luke Broadwater, and then a whole team got involved in that. And as we saw, the mayor's entire career unraveled in about 4 months. Last year, the staff of the Capital Gazette was awarded a special citation for reporting on their own shooting. Updating on the COVID-19 pandemic, Anne Arundel County now has 2,018 positive cases with 93 deaths. Statewide, it's 26,408 with 1,216 deaths. I know the big question is when are we going to get back to any kind of semblance of normality? And we did get a hold of a working document that the governor may make a move to bring us to stage 1 on May 15th. So there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Stage 2 looks to come in on September 3rd and Stage 3 on January 1st. And that May 15th date is pretty critical because May 12th to 14th is the date when any effects that we may see from early opening in other states may start to show. So we want to keep an eye on what happens nationally May 12th to 14th to see if that May 15th date will hold fast. Helping Governor Hogan open up Maryland, he's got a huge committee of people, and Anne Arundel County is pretty well represented there as well. Debbie Gosselin, the president and owner of Watermark Journey Cruises, is in there. Francis Hall Cheney, who's the CEO of Cheney Enterprises. Gene Condon, who is the general manager of the Arundel Mills Mall. Jim Stark, who is the general manager of Best Western Plus BWI Airport at Arundel Mills. Hamilton Cheney, who's the co-owner of Harrington Harbor, as well as Jonathan Phillips, who's the commodore of the Severn Sailing Association. Ricky Smith, who's the executive director of the BWI Airport. Joe Weinberg, who's the CEO of the Cordish Gaming Group, which has live casino up there in Hanover, as well as Susan Zellers, who's the executive director of the Marine Trades Association here in Edgewater. So it seems that Anne Arundel County is pretty well represented on those that are guiding Governor Hogan's decisions on reopening Maryland. And speaking of businesses trying to open up, the PPP program from the Small Business Association, here's a little bit of an update on that. The second round of that was released, and a little bit more than half of that is now depleted. Maryland companies got $3.2 billion in loans from that. There was a total of 34,732 loans, and that averages out to $93,000 per business. The federal average was $79,000 per business this round. The first round of $349 billion went very, very fast, and that was 26,068 loans for $6.54 billion in Maryland, with an average of $250,000 per loan. So obviously you can see that the second one is really geared more toward the smaller businesses there. You can see that also in the loan sizes as well. Fewer than 1% are for $1 million or more this term around. Last time around, it was 40% that were in excess of $1 million. So that PPP funding is starting to flow. If you did apply, you probably should be hearing something, I would think, within a day or two. And as we wrap it up today, Ted Levitt, who is the former owner of Chick and Ruth's Deli on Main Street in Annapolis, he retired a couple years ago. He had a great posting on his Facebook page all about perspective, and I'd like to read it to you because I think it's important. For a small amount of perspective at this moment, imagine you were born in 1900. When you were 14, World War I starts and ends on your 18th birthday with 22 million people killed. Later in that year, a Spanish flu epidemic hits the planet and runs until you are 20. 50 million people die from it in those 2 years. Yes, 50 million. When you're 29, the Great Depression begins. Unemployment hits 25%. Global GDP drops to 27%. That runs until you're 33. The country nearly collapses along with the world economy. When you're 39, World War II starts, and you aren't even over the hill yet. When you're 41, the United States is fully pulled into World War II. Between your 39th and 45th birthday, 75 million people perish in the war, and the Holocaust kills 6 million. At 52, the Korean War starts and 5 million perish. At 64, the Vietnam War begins, and it doesn't end for many years. 4 million people die in that conflict. Approaching your 62nd birthday, you have the Cuban Missile Crisis, a tipping point in the Cold War. Life on our planet as we know it could well have ended. Great leaders have prevented that from happening. As you turn 75, the Vietnam War finally ends. Think of everyone on the planet born in 1900. How do you survive all of that? A kid in 1985 didn't think that their 85-year-old grandparent understood how hard school was. Yet those grandparents survived through everything listed. Perspective is an amazing art. Let's try and keep things in perspective. Let's be smart, help each other out, and we will get through all of this. In the history of the world, there has never been a storm that lasted. This too shall pass. And to that I say thank you, Ted Levitt, for a little dose of reality. All right, that does wrap it up for us today. Please make sure you're checking out eyeonannapolis.net throughout the day because we do update it throughout the day with these stories and more. If you are someplace you can leave us a rating or a review, please do that. And make sure your friends and family and colleagues all know how to download a podcast and get them to subscribe to the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief. Other than that, you need to hang tight. We have George Young with your local DMV weather forecast. He's coming up in just 1 minute. But first, a quick message from Solar Energy Services.
Hello, Marylanders. This is Rick Peters from Solar Energy Services in Millersville, Maryland, wishing you good health and a rapid return to prosperity. Uncertainty is one of the hardest parts of our current situation. As we move towards our new normal, you may want to consider adding more certainty to your financial future by locking in the low cost of clean solar energy. The economics of solar are tremendous, and there's no better source than the trusted team at Solar Energy Services. Residential solar projects typically earn the homeowner 8 to 12% annually over the life of the system, with even better returns for commercial systems. If you have some downtime now, take advantage of our powerful remote design capabilities, allowing one of our experienced solar designers to provide a presentation, followed by a detailed, accurate proposal, all from a safe distance. Call us today at 410-923-6090 or visit us at solarsaves.net. Sunshine's are wasted, but together we'll get through this.
Sunshine, sunshine, nothing else can make me feel so fine.
Going out? You need the most up-to-date local weather. Here's George Young from DMV Weather in Annapolis with today's forecast.
Hey everyone, this is George with DMV Weather, and this is your Eye on Annapolis forecast for Tuesday, May 5th. Yesterday was another nice warm day for the Annapolis region, the third in a row, after 2 chilly weeks to cap off April. Though it was a bit windy throughout much of the day, and while the wind will die down today, temps will fall too, with highs going below average again for much, if not all, of the next 10-plus days, with temps today through Sunday likely only in the 55 to 65 degree range, though it could be a bit chillier than that tomorrow as clouds move in today and showers return either very late today or possibly overnight into early Wednesday, with much of Wednesday gray and wet before skies clear again Thursday with temps 60 to 65 for most, before Friday then brings mixed skies and another passing chance of rain showers and a sunny then albeit cool weekend ahead of that with highs in the 50s and 60s. For the record, the average high temp May 5th through the 15th for this area is around 72 to 75 degrees. Okay, that's it for today. This is George Young of DMV Weather. Make it a great day out there. Stay healthy and be safe. And be sure to get our free app on all of your devices by searching DCMDVA Weather in the Apple or Google App Stores. Also be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter and use our website at dmvweather.com so you can always stay weather informed.
Hi, this is Brian Griffiths, the founder of Maryland Podcast Month. Maryland Podcast Month was founded in 2018 to draw attention to all of the great podcasts and podcasters here in Maryland. And during this time of social distancing, there is no better time to start learning more about locally produced podcasts. Shows like my podcast, Red Maryland Radio, Eye on Annapolis, the Conduit Street Podcast, JB's Drive-In Podcast, the Maryland Crabs, Quality Time, the Society Fringe Players, and more are still putting out fresh content. Visit MarylandPodcastMonth.com to learn more about these great Maryland podcasts. That's MarylandPodcastMonth.com. And we thank you for your support of local content.
Whether it's a fire, a hurricane, or a virus, Annapolis comes together. We've done it time and time again because this is a town that gets it, a town that knows how to lift each other up when the world falls down. As we face this new challenge, I encourage our community to come together as we've always done. I'm Steve Samaras from Zachary's Jewelers. I pledge to lend a hand to support my family, my team, my neighbors, and the small businesses in our town. Together, let's do what we've always done.
You've been listening to the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief. Tell your friends and colleagues this is the podcast where you can keep up on the latest with what's going on in Annapolis. And also tell them about our website, eyeonannapolis.net, where you can find even more information. This podcast comes to you every Monday through Friday at 7 a.m., keeping you informed with the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief. And take a moment to listen to our other podcast, The Maryland Crabs, released every Thursday at noon.